a
All
little
right, go ahead.
early.
Let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, just keep it early. But no, yeah, that's true because like doing all this content stuff, like it's a lot of work, and sometimes I try. It gets frustrating. Sometimes I think about like maybe it's too much. I should probably not do it, but like I just say can't give myself excuses and everything.
I agree, man. Like I was saying to you backstage, man, you really need to be proud. I'm sure everybody that knows you, whether if they haven't told you they're proud, they're thinking it. Because if they haven't
Hmm.
told you they're proud, they know it, right? So, I always say on my show, a quote unquote hater's silence is loud. And for you to say that you've written a book, you have a YouTube channel, you've completely taken control of your life, I think is an important lesson in itself for self-belief and believing in yourself. Because if any family members or anybody that who would have thunk it that you would have written your first book, man? And I know you're working on another one. So
Yeah, I'm gonna do another one. So yeah, that it's in the works and
so,
everything.
so what I'm basically saying is too, man, when you find something that's in common with somebody that's positive, it's not necessarily about the messenger, it's about the message. And you could take something from the message that's valuable, that's going to help you go on another day to continue something that you feel like quitting from time to time. It's important for guys to lean on each other and embrace the fact that we don't do things all the same. We don't believe in everything the same, but we can come together and make each other better. Because at the end of the day, now that you and I are kind of new to this shit, I find that the biggest entertainment value is more of about entertainment versus education. Or people want to watch each other tear each other down, or they want to try to convince a woman that she's supposed to like you because of this, and that. Or you're supposed to convince a woman why you don't like her because of this, and that. I don't really know how that's helping anybody. It's more entertaining than anything else. And I'm not a
Hmm.
coach, but at the end of the day, and I know this is what I'm trying to do is break barriers and give people that middle ground so they can make an educated decision for themselves. Because at the end of the day, man, if I got to keep teaching you guys the same shit over and over, Rob, I need to reevaluate myself and my teachings and the game that I I'm quoting that I'm trying to spit. If because the game or whatever you want to call it, red pill, whatever you want to call it, the information is useless unless the person retains it. So if I
Hmm.
continue to teach people who don't want to listen or they're not understanding my teachings, I need to reevaluate that. So I think
Right.
it's important, man. So I think that's one lesson in itself. I don't know the direction we're going in. We
Oh,
just
okay. No,
freestyling.
like
But go ahead, go ahead.
it's just totally whatever or whatever we say. We're free flowing it, but so yeah, there you go. That can be a life lesson just to be able to follow the information because like, hey, our buddy Riley's joining us on.
Riley.
I had a chance to meet Riley in Michigan when I
Yeah.
went back home. It was really
Awesome.
cool. He got in touch with me today. He said you guys were talking about doing an idea for like a panel discussion. That would be good.
Absolutely.
So definitely.
Yeah, I told him. I said, when just give me shout out to you, Riley. Just give me some advanced notice, bro. I'm there. I'll support whatever. Because like I was telling, like we just came on. We were talking so much backstage. Rob didn't even have a chance to introduce or nothing like that. But basically, we're talking about 5 life lessons, man, that every man needs. And I think the perfect thing, I was just giving Rob his flowers, man, letting him know that, based on his background, based on everything that he's been through and the things that he continues to work on, you're an inspiration. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like when we have these commonalities and we embrace the truth, Rob, it's a very scarce and limited amount of people that can really relate to you and understand you.
Hmm.
So I think the fact that we have that in common will open up so many doors for us. And I think men need to really nurture the bonds and the relationships that they have as a result of helping each other, because
Hmm.
that's where the civilizations were built. And right now the tone of everything is basically trying to convince somebody that they're wrong, convince you're the best, that person's wrong, or this woman is wrong because of this, or if she made some mistake she's not valuable. At the end of the day, this is why I like your content, Rob, because it's about commanding your confidence. It doesn't really matter what's occurring outside in the dating landscape. You're aware of it, but you got to make sure that you're confident at all times to know that you can weather that storm.
Right. No, yeah, exactly. No, that like that because that not just dating, just like even like just working on goals and stuff. It could all get frustrating, and like you come across a lot of obstacles, and you just gotta learn how to Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I get frustrated sometimes, but you gotta learn how to break out of that frustration. I think we were talking about frustration and stuff, and you gotta be able to just, like, push through, like, things when everything gets tough because it's not an easy road, making a change and, from having a certain way about thinking about things in your life and all of a sudden only been on it for 4 years, there's still a lot I have to learn, so
Oh
it's
my God.
and you still come across challenges doing that. Um,
Absolutely.
and I think that another good lesson is like, just accept for a guy is like, if for anyone who wants to, make a change when it comes to their mindset, start a business, is learn how to accept the process and enjoy the journey rather than look at over things as like, things as a magical pill, like, instant success and be able to have the strength and confidence to overcome like all the challenges that lay ahead because a lot of guys is like they go out there and they make this change want to just try to make this change for themselves but sometimes due to the frustration and everything that they just feel like they can't do it they are never going to do it because they don't have this or they keep trying and they just kind of give up and they got to just be able to like push through all that resistance and I think the most like the hardest I think out of all like so I did my book it's called the 5 pillars of self-confidence so I have these are all like tools that I've used to kind of like move forward in life, that help me over, get to where I want to be. And they are like take action, be persistent, mindset, take responsibility and discipline. And I think the biggest challenge out of all those for me, I would say, is the mindset because the mind, is a hard thing to change when you're used to having a certain way of thinking, for a while and just changing that.
Man, mindset. It's something that I think that I don't think anyone has really conquered. I think that it's something that's always having to be on, reset. You always have to try to make sure that you're on top of things. You have to try to detach from a lot of things too. It's like if a lot of
Mhm.
guys watch a lot of content, they like everyone and they think that everyone is saying the right thing. That's confusing you in itself. That causes frustration. That causes you to cloud your mindset. A lot of
Mhm.
people, sometimes you get into a situation, Rob, where you're coached and somebody walks you, a coach walks you up the ledge and they save your life and they make you see things differently, which is awesome. But as a man, when people need to understand when a thank you is enough, it should be enough. A thank you isn't a bound to somebody just because they've helped you in the past. You got to help yourself. So whoever's spiritual, whoever thinks about, God or what have you, who's waiting for hope or who wants to manifest everything without putting any work in, that's delusional. Even if you
Mhm.
believe in God, God says that, God helps those who help themselves. So men are very fortunate for the amount of resources and content that we have out there, but it's important for a man to understand and identify with people who not only they can relate to, but people who are producing results. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the important thing because once you start accomplishing things, Rob, you start producing results, you start achieving goals that you set for yourself, not some unrealistic goal somebody's setting for you. That builds your confidence. That helps you shape your mindset. You've written your first book. Your mindset is different for the second book. Your mindset
Mhm.
wasn't the same with the first book because you never achieved it. But once you've
Yeah,
achieved that,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, you're
like
good.
exactly. And then, one of the things so one of my principles, talk about like, taking action and stuff. So like, like and I talk about when you take action, when you go in there and you achieve the goal, then you learn how you can use your experiences from your previous goal into working on your new goal and everything. And that, that prepares you. Like I learned I like when doing this book, like there's a lot of stuff I didn't know how to do about publishing a book. And I think I've learn next time how to make the process easier since I know what I need to do.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the thing. So it's all about doing it, right? We can be behind the microphones. Technology has aided us to talk to women, to talk to other people, but we've gotten really lazy. So let's say, God forbid, there's a cyber attack and all this is gone. What do you do, right? What do you do? So The fact that you were able to identify a pillar and really live through your life, that just is testament of how authentic that book is, because it's something, exercises that you've done that you continue to implement, which your audience can relate to as well, because they're watching your growth. They're watching the fact that, listen, I did write a book. I said I was going to do it. Now I did it. So you're also saying, you're sending a positive message to the guys that one of the life lessons that men need to know is to allow themselves time. Allow yourself time, allow yourself to get frustrated, allow yourself to have emotion,
Right.
because all this masculinity shit is cool, but you have to be in touch with some emotions too to be able to become masculine, continue to be masculine. We're
Mm-hmm.
not asking you guys not to cry. We're not asking you to not love anybody, but you have to make sure that you understand the consequences. So a life lesson for men is to really look at their mentors, look at themselves honestly, and allow themselves to be human. You know, all this
Mm-hmm.
alpha shit, you know, we watch the Jeff Bezos, we watch the Johnny Depps, we call them simps. But at the end of the day, they're living their life. The only way you're going to learn, right? Men don't lose, we learn. You just have to make sure that whenever you do something and it doesn't work out in your favor, you try something else, but you learn from that. And that way you can prevent it from happening again.
Right, exactly. And I know that's what I've always learned, and sometimes I have to keep telling myself that, because sometimes when I work on something, because I realize everything is a learning experience, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, I overlook that when stuff comes down. Like, I think like that's normal. I guess we kind of forget about that, but I have to remind myself that I can't get frustrated or put a label on myself because I didn't do too well in this. I got to just be like, well, hey, learning. This is a process. The important thing is, like, I went out there, I took the action, and I may have not gotten the desired result, but the thing is, I went out there and took the action towards whatever it is I'm working on.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, if you look at your first video that you released to now, I mean, you could see the growth in itself. That's a reminder in itself, man. You've come a
Right.
long way. You know what I mean? You've come a long
Yeah.
way. And me too. You know, I continue to try to evolve my presentation. There's still some kinks that I have to work out, but they're my kinks. You know, one of the things that men need to do too, another lesson that you guys may want to incorporate, is stop trying to be like everybody else. We always encourage you guys to be authentic and be yourself, but you're too busy looking at everybody, listening to everybody to be confused and bombarded with not knowing who you want to be. So one thing that you guys can do is detach from some of the content that you listen to, some of the things, the negative things that you're hearing outside that are scaring you, confusing you, and try to figure it out yourself. You ever get like a piece of furniture or something comes in the mail, the instructions are very small, you can't even read it, but you see the pieces on the floor, you say screw the instructions, let me just try to figure it out and fix it. You wind up fixing it, misses some screws, but it still works. It's the same thing with life, man. You guys have to really not be afraid to try to figure it out. We are
Right.
very privileged. We're very lucky to be in this country, to have technology, all the shit at our disposal, and we're not really knowing how to think for ourselves. And I think that's the important thing. Once you realize that it's not as hard as somebody that said it on YouTube, it's not as scary, or loving a woman is not as bad, or I love this woman. Yes, she's got a kid, but I want to do it anyway because I know what I'm doing. Those are the things that you guys have to be open to. You can't listen to strangers who don't use their real names. You don't know how they really live in their life, guide you entirely throughout your life. You can take some gems from them,
Right.
but at the
Yeah,
end of
I
the
agree on that.
yeah, you got there's a time limit for thank yous, right? So thank you so much for doing this for me so wholeheartedly, but now it's time to move on, bro.
Hmm. Right. And you know what? I think that's where a lot of people, get confused. Like, I mean, it's okay to turn to mentoring or watch content, but I think a lot of people, they look at the other content and they figure like, well, okay, well, that's how I got to do it. And it
Right.
may not like blend with their style. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And therefore, like, I think it kind of keeps them from having success, or it slows them down a bit. I've
Precisely.
always learned, like, you got to like figure out and evolve your own way of doing things, because
Sure.
that's like when you mentioned authenticity. When you can find your own, figure out who you are and be authentic. It's just gonna make it easier to deal with a lot of bullshit, not just with women, but with other stuff as well. You'll develop creative ideas, because I think, yeah, that's a one thing. Like, I think, I mean, and I'm guilty of this too, but we always look to others and we have to, we see what they got to do to like be like them, or we have to, and then sometimes, our ego gets in the way and says, oh, well, because we get jealous because this person has what they're doing and I'm doing this with, say like you're looking at another YouTuber, like, I can't believe this YouTuber's getting all these subscribers, like because when we compare ourselves like that, it's just gonna, just get in the way of us from moving forward, and it's gonna just frustrate us.
Man, you said a lot right there, bro, but it's absolutely true. I said this on my show the other day. I said, the irony about success, one of the key components in the recipe about achieving success is hard work. But unfortunately, sometimes your hard work doesn't yield success. So to relate that to dating, right? So a lot of you guys say that I did everything she asked. I did everything that the red pill people told me what to do. It still didn't work out. You guys need to understand that sometimes your best will just simply not be good enough. And that goes for everything, men, women, achievements, goals, etc. Sometimes you have to know when to say when. You have to make sure that you do your best and sometimes accept the fact that your best won't be good enough, but then you apply for something else. If you didn't win this one, you might win that one. If you lost this one, you might get this one. When one door closes, two doors open. You have to understand there's a market for every one of us outside. There's no set way to be a man or alpha, whatever you want to call it. There's a way to be a man, yes, but to be alpha, to be somebody's Adonis, to be someone's Chad, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. So at the end of the day, as long as men are commanding their confidence, they're applying some of the principles that I say, that Rob says, about just make sure that you're focusing on yourself, everything else will work itself out, bro. You guys are doing it backwards. You're trying to work everything out, and then you're trying to conform into what the world is saying, even though it's not in your spirit. You know what I mean? You're confused because your mom raised you this way, your friends live this way, my family lives this way, but I just don't feel right. I feel like something's missing. And then when you find a group of people that understand you, you cling to them. And now you lose your identity because you don't know who you are with your family, but you don't know who you are because now you're bound to this new people on YouTube. This is why the journey of manhood, authenticity, whatever you want to call it, is a lonely one, because again, it's lonely at the top, but it's lonelier on the way up. And right now, Rob, as a man transitions, as whatever goals you're trying to do, it's lonelier on the way up. But at the end of the day, I can assure you, once you do take that journey, you're not alone, because people will be over there and they'll understand the grind and the struggle you had to go through. Most people, like women, don't understand the shit that we got to go through, bro. So it's pointless to talk to them about it when it's going in one ear and not the other.
Right. No, and it's like it's a lot of work, and it can be exhausting at sometimes. It's kind of like doing a lot. I mean,
I'm
tired right now, but I'm here.
No, man, I appreciate you. Yeah, definitely.
I like doing this, like, and it, just like, but no, it's why do you think people like look to others instead of themselves? Like, why do you think, like, they get lost? Is it because is that how you think that's something we're brought up in society, and that society has taught us to look to other people, and so we lose our identity? I would think that would be the reason why, because when we look, if society has taught us to look to other people, we're gonna forget to look into ourselves and everything.
There's a balance. There's a balance involved. I think we've normalized too much of the fact that anything is okay and everything is okay, right? When I was growing up, there was an honor roll. If you were on honor roll, you only had straight A's. Now there's an honor roll with an A and B honor roll. When I was growing up, when we used to play T-ball or flag football, whoever won the game got the trophy. Nowadays, the losers and the winners are getting trophies. So now it's like confusing people, right? So social media and technology have allowed us and made it easier to for us to look at other people at the way that they're living. There's so many people. Sometimes, for instance, you're outside, you're enjoying a party. More people are trying to show that they're enjoying the party as opposed to living in the moment. Right? So this is why people are accustomed to looking at other people's and not focusing on themselves, because now social media has given everybody a platform to be a star. You can be a TikTok.
That's true. Yeah.
You could be a TikTok viral star because you put glue in your hair or you're lip syncing something on TikTok with no talent. And the guys like us who have talent, we struggling to get subscribers. So at the end of the day, to sum it up, bro, the reason why people are not looking at themselves is because they want to live through other people. And this is what we try to encourage you and discourage you guys from doing, because at the end of the day, when you're living through somebody, that means you're living through their bad times. Even though you're feeling good, you're living through their bad times. You're going through everything that they're going through, as opposed to learning and getting whatever bits and pieces of what you've heard that you would like to try to achieve and make it yourself. This is why you'll always be lost. So you got to be confident in yourself to know that you can handle it. And if you need guidance, that's fine. But guidance is temporary, not forever.
Right. I don't know. Like, I do. I mean, I can understand how, like, people get lost up in, like, all the entertainment and stuff, because it's just, I think they want to. It's an ego thing, and they want to be. I guess, if they get like millions of likes and shit. And I mean, just by doing stupid shit,
Right.
but yeah, I find that weird though. Like, like, I mean, I like coming on here doing educational stuff to help inform others, and solve problems. But yeah, I do find that weird how, like, all, like, the dumb stuff gets, like, more reviews, like, likes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to find a creative way to present my content then that's gonna be dumb. That's
Nah,
how.
it's
Yeah.
crazy you say that, man. That's just a reflection of your growth, man. It's like, I still like silly shit. I still like Family Guy. I still like to watch cartoons once in a
Yeah.
while. I like to escape, but that's what it is. It's an escape. See, that's the thing. People would rather like dumb shit and silly shit to help them escape their real life, because their real
Mhm.
life sucks.
Mhm.
So if if you got a nice house and you're comfortable in your house, there's no reason for you to go anywhere. You don't really want to go out. Why do people always want to go out? Because maybe they live in a shitty apartment. They don't like their life. They want to go get drunk. They want to go get high so they can forget about the fact that IRS took all their money, got the child support paid. Now I don't have a lot of money left over. I'm getting fat. I'm losing. So they just want to escape the reality as opposed to confronting reality. And that's
Mhm.
why, as our roles as content creators in this space in particular, we have to deal with that all the time. We have to really accept reality and try to convey it and teach it to you guys that there's something else going on outside than what you're doing right now. And if you guys continue to prolong it and use other mechanisms to try to forget it all the time, you're never gonna live in reality, bro. I'm
Mhm.
not saying you can't smoke, you can't drink, but you gotta make sure you balance. Like, you gotta sober up so you can see what's really going on before you decide to go off on another bender.
Right. No, no, and I agree with you. I think people, like, some people just don't want to face their problems and stuff, and, like, and then they use
It sucks.
all that stuff to escape, and I guess some people did, like, just are in a fixed mindset and don't think they can, move forward with all that. But no, like, I don't know, like, I guess, like, and I just think, again, like, people are just, like, I don't know. I don't want to say this, kind of brainwashed by, like, media and stuff like that. Like, I know I'm going back to what I said before about following the leader and stuff. Like,
All
they
good.
follow what they see on the social media and stuff like that. And and that digs a deeper hole for them, because when they dig that deeper hole, they don't know how to get themselves out of it. Like, and I think sometimes, though, people will go make that change in their life. I think people who get stuck in that way of thinking, where they don't want to deal with their problems, eventually, like, it gets bad to a point where they might have a life experience that will cause them to want to change. For instance, if you take someone who was a hardcore, used drugs to escape reality. I mean, they might have a situation, they might, like, overdose on drugs, and that might cause them to make a change, or they might hurt someone that they love, and that might cause that change. I think it takes some sort of, like, outside influence, or something really, like, a life-changing moment for that to really occur.
Yeah, and that's the thing. See, that's the thing, bro. What you said was very important. You said that, in a nutshell, most people will change when a life altering event occurs, something extremely bad, as opposed to having discernment and enough courage and confidence in yourself to be proactive as opposed to reactive. So most people are
Mhm,
reactive, right? They turn to the red pill because they got broken up, the wife was cheating on them, or they just
mhm,
realized that they were lied to. So they start hating everybody. They want to want to come to these channels. They want to just be entertained. They want to escape. They want to be told that that the girl that cheated on was a bitch. Fine.
mhm,
But because he was reactive, he decided to not pay attention to what he should be paying attention to. Um, this is what that causes. But when you become proactive, you start to know yourself, you implement the confidence that Rob talks about, you listen to the things that you want to do, and you start to live your life accordingly, little by little. Take some time. You could prevent red flags. You could prevent things, or you could have the foresight to see that this is a red flag. This isn't going anywhere. Let me let this out. Because at the end of the day, man, if you let shit happen to you, Rob, just because you're waiting for shit to happen to you, that's where whatever you don't have is what you don't deserve. The life that you have is the one that you're not willing to work for. Guys who go out there, who let their standards be known, who tell a woman, this is not going to work, who know themselves, who know who blends with them as far as friends, business, etc. Those are the guys that are winning. So at the end of the day, instead of waiting for somebody to die, something to happen that you could have prevented, you didn't change the oil in the cars. Now the engine's blown. Now you got to spend money.
Yeah,
now
it's
you're
the bam,
complaining.
yeah.
You got the check engine light was on, but you weren't paying attention. All these things were in our control. So if it didn't work out, you got to first look at the accountability and say, well, why didn't it work out? What didn't I do to preserve the relationship? Was the relationship good in the first place? These are all the things that once you answer those questions, guys, confidence will just come naturally. That's the biggest lesson, because Rob always talking about confidence. Confidence can't be bought. It can't be created. Somebody can't give you confidence, because the person who gives you confidence can take it away. So if you build your confidence on your own, nobody could take it away from you, bro. You can't tell me shit. The bitch, I did this, so the bitch can't tell me she's not with me. That's fine. She didn't put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Now, if she tells me, oh, you're so handsome, Avi, she's stroking my ego, and I diss her and I check her, and now she's gonna call me big little dick energy, and now she's gonna say I'm ugly. Now she's taking the power. When you give people the power over you to allow you to mold you into what they want, like you were talking about being controlled and brainwashed with social media, you're giving them the power. How do you take your power back, bro? By you calling your own fucking shots. Excuse my language. So that's what it is.
Right? No, that's true. But yeah, that could be another lesson though, like just be in charge of don't let your whatever outside influences affect you. I mean, so for instance, whether it be like something going on with a woman, whether it be with something, I'll be guilty. I mean, sometimes too, I'm guilty of just like falling outside that. But you got to pick yourself up and move forward. Like just deal with it for a bit. Like I get thrown off like square for a bit, or like I just kind of have moments where I lose my confidence. But I have to like think confidence is being able to like get yourself back on track from that. I think like once you're able to move forward with that, like when you're kind of in a downward spiral, like I mean that's confidence. I mean, because that we're human, we're gonna have those moments where we slip back into our old self. That's what I realized. And but you got to, I think, have the confidence and take the responsibility to kind of push forward with that and not get stuck. Because if you get stuck, then you lose that confidence and everything.
Absolutely, man. And that's the thing. Like, shout out to Afi Kingdom. He kind of made this happen, introduced me to you. And I remember one time, this is before we were friends. This is kind of tied into confidence. He got his channel taken down. And I had this conversation with him randomly. He basically said, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna go hard and shit. And so this is a guy who's been doing this for 3 years, putting in a lot of work, a lot of thought into his content. Channel gets taken down. All that hard work, Rob, is down the drain. Just
right?
Like
yeah.
He was fortunate enough to be able to resuscitate the channel, but then he went harder. The guy started working harder, like he never got his channel back. And I say that to say this: confidence. You talked about falling down. He got his channel taken away. He could have just given up and went back to his very good career, but he had confidence in himself. You understand? I'm putting in my grind right now. I'm going to earn my subscribers. You know what I mean? But I have confidence in myself. Sometimes I fall off. I turn to my mentors, but they remind me that, I'm doing something different. You're doing something different. We don't sound like everybody. We don't present our material like everybody. So eventually it takes time sometimes for people to embrace different, quote unquote, or something that doesn't look like the norm, right? Everybody wants McDonald's and shit, as opposed to making a fresh burger because it's on every corner. But eventually you're going to get tired of McDonald's. And I want you to remember, Rob, to continue your confidence and continue to be you and just become a better you, because nobody's talking like you. Nobody looks like you in this space. And you've had several interviews with several content creators, man. And that's respect. That's a
Mm-hmm.
book. So they respect you, bro. So you're doing your thing, and it's an honor for me to be here as well because again, you motivate me, and for me, we're bigger than the space. Our
Mm-hmm.
message is the message. It is what it is. And I like the fact that we're from two different walks of life, but we're talking that real shit that everybody can benefit from, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
hold your
No.
head high, man, because this is history in the making. Because 10 years ago, nobody would have thought we would be on the mic, touching lives, writing books, doing all this shit, man. So this is a dream come true for us, man. So we've already won.
Yeah,
F
that's
the
true.
subscribers, you know what I'm saying? F the subscribers, we love you guys, but F the
Mm-hmm.
subscribers, we've already won. We've already did shit that we never even imagined, and we still going strong.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, and sometimes I get some DMs from some of the viewers and stuff. Riley is one of them. And he
Ali,
says comments like, really appreciate the stuff you do. It really helps. That's what keeps me going and shit like that. When I get
facts.
because
That's a
I
lesson.
mean, even though I'm still a small channel and growing, like then get comments like that or get messages from people leaving comments about the content. um that's really good, and just being able to expand, like some of the guests that I've had on here. I still like I got a still I got some good guests coming up soon, which is
Nice.
good. I was surprised, like a few of them, like when I came across Lucario. I knew about Lucario's channel before I got in there, and I didn't think he would ever do a
But that's my
stream with
point. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. I didn't want to name names, but that's what I'm saying. You've had a lot of people in the game, so that says a lot. That says a lot about your grind and your effort, man. They're not gonna say it. They don't. A lot of people don't have time. When you're busy content creator, you don't really have time to watch other content creators unless you're supporting them or you're looking at them to try to compete with them, right? So
Hmm.
fine, it is what it is. But everybody knows you, bro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Everybody knows you, so that's in itself shows that you've already won. So
Hmm.
I encourage you to keep grinding, man, because there's a lot of things that you teach people, man, and sometimes the message, it really depends on who's saying it, right? And you have a disarming look. Your energy is extremely positive.
Thank
I'm I'm a positive dude, but I don't necessarily look like a positive dude, right? So I got to do an extra couple of steps
Yeah, right.
to convey, or for me to even say my pitch, as opposed to somebody's going to listen to you in the first 5 seconds, because we have different looks, but we're saying the same thing. So now on the flip side, if Rob wanted to convey a message to people that look like me, I'm not talking about black, I'm just talking about energy wise, right? It may not be heard just yet. It might be listened to me. So this is what I'm saying. We touching lives, bro. We on both sides of the spectrum. We share the same commonality: manhood, masculinity, positivity, and trying to make
Mhm.
men better and be more positive and confident. So that's all that effing matters, bro. All this other silly shit, keep that shit over there, man, because we in our own lane, bro.
Right, exactly. No, and I agree with you. Now, I wanted to bring up, okay, what would be your lesson that every guy should know about women? Like, because we hear a lot of this stuff on here. So, like, when it comes to relationships with women, um, what would be your lesson for a guy about that?
Man, there's so many, but I'll say
Yeah, I have
this.
so many too.
I mean, Jesus Christ, we don't have time, but I'll say this, guys. Relationships are awesome. You know what I mean? Sex is great. Men and women are better together than apart. I truly believe that. And I'm never going to stop saying that. Why? Because I don't have problems with women. Now, I've
Hmm.
gotten my heart broken. I've done some things. I've done things that would be considered taboo in our space, red pill, management, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
The biggest lesson that I would encourage you guys to do is to know yourself. To know what you like, to know what you don't like. How do you do that? You go out there, you start dating girls, perhaps outside of your race, outside of your physical attributes. You start dating all types of women so you can understand what makes a woman tick. And more importantly, you guys can understand what makes you tick, what you like and don't like. That's half the battle. Once you know who you are, you're going to know the type of woman that's going to compliment you. And if that's the case, and number two, never lose yourself in the relationship. You have to remain the person that attracted her in the first place. If you change into somebody else, she will no longer be attracted to that person. She's going to want the guy that first swept her off her feet, bro. Never lose
Hmm.
yourself and know yourself before you get into a relationship.
Right. And yeah, those are some of the things I would say too. I know you do a lot. I think I was like that. I think when I think, yeah, like, when I go meet girls, well, sometimes I used to like, just put on a fake facade just to like impress the girl. But I learned like it's if I had to say one thing, it's just to like, be more authentic with women, rather than go out of your way to be nice just to please them. Because a lot of guys who, I mean, because this was something I always struggled with being, a while ago in my dating life, is I couldn't be authentic with women. I had to be someone that society taught me to be, and I realized that like really turned women off. Like, I mean,
Facts.
and when I learned to be more authentic, I was able to attract more women. I'm not gonna, some people are attracted to my authenticity, other people are not. Not everyone's gonna like you, but you have to learn to be comfortable with that. And sometimes it gets frustrating. But then too, you got to realize that when you've gone out there, you've been on a lot of dates, that when those situations do come up where someone doesn't like you for who you are when you're being authentic, you just don't care because you're eventually going to find someone.
Exactly, man. And that's the thing. Once you get older, guys, you'll realize that there's nothing else like peace, right? I had the t-shirt peace over PUSSY. It's nothing like it, man. We
I
we
like
enjoy
that.
yeah, we enjoy PUSSY, no doubt. But at the same time, peace is more valuable. And being authentic, is actually very refreshing for women. When you don't sound cheesy, when you don't sound like it's a pickup line, whenever you're trying to just be yourself, because everyone's so much like a follower. It's refreshing for a woman. A woman feels like she can, you're interesting. She's never met a person like you because you don't really follow the lead or the norm like everybody else. So being authentic has never been easier. You just simply have to be yourself. Now the problem is most men don't know who they are because they're confused. They're flooded with so much information. Digital detox, detach from all the bullshit, and try to figure out who you want to be. The sooner you figure that out, you'll know what you can do and what you can't do. Set your goals, and you'll be fine.
Hmm. Right. That no, that's true, and I think I don't know. I think that's something that some guys might have a hard time doing, though. Like, but they got to learn to realize that. Well, what would you say to someone who may be having a hard time learning that? Like, just like
It's
you know
bro. I'm
how
not.
tough it can be.
It's
A
not,
lot of people aren't open minded.
man. It's not. It's. I'm not saying it's easy, bro. It's something that we have to do every day. Like I said, you get sometimes you get knocked down. What I mean, you get back up. That's how you're measured, right? It's not measured. You're not measuring if you get knocked down because we all do. Is what you're only measured if you get back up. How many times you get back up? Fall down 9, get up 10. So that's the thing. It's all about trying. You have to understand the importance of authenticity and the importance of knowing yourself. And once you understand the importance of knowing yourself, you're going to try to do it every single day. It's kind of like
Hmm.
trying to figure out a puzzle, something that's on the tip of your tongue. You want to just say it. So you're adamant about it. You're relentless trying to figure it out. It's the same thing. Once you understand the importance of being a man and being yourself, there's nothing that's going to get in your way from striving to achieve that because
Hmm.
being an authentic man in this day and age will open up so many doors for you, so many things that you guys want to achieve, but you're missing that main component of being yourself.
Hmm. Right. No, that's really good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's like I think no matter what anything you're working on there, there's a lot you're gonna fall down a lot. And like I think you're a tough motherfucker when you can like get off your ass when you haven't succeeded at something and just be able to push forward.
Facts.
Because like, that's I think that's a true test to like achieving your goal, because if you really want it, you're not gonna give up right away. You're gonna just keep on moving forward and just kicking ass and everything. You just can't let that shit get you down.
Right, right, right,
So,
right.
and a lot of guys will do that. What up, Roduco? How's it going,
What up?
buddy?
What up? What up?
And I think this like it's a lot of guys though, they just kind of like give up after trying a few times. And a lot of like I know some people who said like, oh, they worked on something, it didn't happen, and they just gave up because they just had that fixed mindset. They didn't have that persistence.
Yep.
And I mean, that's one tool I'm always glad I've been able to have discipline, is persistence, because I say to myself, if just going to go there and if I'm going to make this happen, I know I'm learning. I know it's a process. I'm not going to let my, whatever happens, like get me down. And like, I'm going to, you know, act differently if I fall and when I get back up and just keep on trying it. And sometimes, depending, it's just a numbers game too, depending on what it is you're doing. And most guys just don't realize that. And then, it's just having a change in your mindset too can be like, that's a really hard process to overcome. And it takes persistence to do that because you're gonna keep, like you got to deal with like, the setbacks. Like you got to change your mindset to help you deal with that and help you push forward, when things are not going right.
Yeah, man, persistence, man. That shit, it's hard, man. We're not saying it's easy, We're talking about, we're no different than you guys. We piss standing up. Hopefully, we put on our pants one leg at a time. We're men. We're men, and
Hmm.
we've made mistakes. This is why we decided to do this. So we could share some of our mistakes, so we could save you guys some time. But persistence is key, man, in anything that you do. I mean, life
Hmm.
is a long journey. You got to keep going, and that's part of persistence. A lot of
Hmm.
people, most people exist, not everyone is living, right?
Hmm.
We're all existing. If you're not doing anything, if you're not pushing it, putting in effort to figure out what you want to do with your life, what makes you happy, what's
Hmm.
purposeful for you, is your purpose and your happiness reliant on somebody else? Like, these are all the things that you got to understand. And we rather get mad at other men or other women for things not turning out the way we want them to, but yet we have never stepped foot on soil to try to make things turn out the way we want them to. So this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what separates people. And you're gonna realize when you have this mindset, Rob, shit that we're talking about, a lot of people are gonna shun us, family members, people that you've known for a long time. And
Yeah,
it's
I'm getting
pain.
that shit too. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and it's painful, but at the end of the day, you have to make a decision as a man. You have to decide whether you're gonna be authentic and who you want to be for yourself to be happy, or do you want to try to make other people happy and be the person that they want you to be while you be miserable? That's why a lot of dudes are, unfortunately, are offing themselves too, because that's another reason why men are, offing themselves, because they were lied to. They don't want to disappoint everybody, and they try to do the things, they try to make everybody happy and live the way that they want them to live, and things are not working out for them, and they
right.
feel useless. They don't know. They don't know what to do. They don't know nowhere to turn. They can't turn to their single mothers. They can't turn to their girlfriends, wives, etc. Because nobody's going to believe them, because they're going to tell you to man up. So you got to walk on this journey alone and understand that you're not alone. But we're not going to do it for you, because Rob had to do it by himself. I had to do it by myself. We all had to do it by ourselves. But I can assure you, there's guys at the end of that journey or close to it, waiting for you, bro, rooting for you. We rooting for you guys over here. But you guys got
Yeah.
to come here. We can't drag you over here, bro.
You know what I learned though? Like I realized when you're on your journey, you're gonna eventually come across those people who are gonna root for you. Like, I mean,
Precisely.
and see, that's the cool thing because like there's this girl I've been hanging out with, like, and she knows about my channel, she knows about my book, and she rewards me and stuff. Like when I was up to 400 subscribers, she brought me over a cake and
Awesome.
everything. When I
Awesome.
got my book, she took me out to lunch as an
Sweet.
accomplishment, and that show and that's like shows me like that I got someone who cares about what I'm doing, and not just like you guys who tuning in here and who watching, but but you know what, I realize you meet those people around your as you're going on your journey, because you're
Facts.
gonna have people who are gonna like respect what you're doing.
That's a
So
fact, bro. And it's crazy you say that, bro. Me and Afi were talking about shit like that, but we were basically saying, I was telling him, I'm like, listen, man, we gonna meet new people that are gonna appreciate us based on other circumstances. And it's like, family members, people from the past, people that were around when we thought of this idea that's actually coming to fruition, still can't process it. They don't share the same enthusiasm. And you're gonna notice too, Robin, I'm sure you've been through this. When you tell people you're gonna write a book, they're like, oh yeah, right, or oh, that's awesome. But when you have the book, it's crickets. Nobody's here to tell you anything. When you talking about you want to do a channel, they're like, go ahead, Rob, that's awesome. But when you start the channel, nobody's supporting you. This
right.
is this is what I'm talking about, the lonely journey. But I'm telling you, we've all been through it, and some of us are still going through it. We're rooting for you, bro. But we can't. That's not how it works. The way it works is we can help you, but you got to walk by yourself, bro. We can't help you, but when you're there, we're rooting
Right.
for you.
Hey, let's answer this question. That I think this is a good question. I think you might be able to get some good insight into this. Do you think persistence can be learned by association, or do you think every man has to experience some level of hardship himself first?
That's
A good
excellent.
question.
That's a great question, man.
You go
Every man,
first, and I'll answer.
sure, every man is built different, right? Some men learn from experiencing a hardship for themselves. Other men can't handle that type of hardship. Other men need some type of mentorship, like a team environment, right? Like the armed forces or like a team. Some men need that. That's why it's important. You got to be authentic and know yourself. If you know you're not the type of person that likes to learn by figuring it out, you prefer going to a classroom, being around people that are going to motivate you by association, you go to that. Why are you going to make your life harder to try to prove something to somebody else because they're doing it, because you follow in their lead? Now you're going to get frustrated. Now you're going to think you're a loser because you can't do it that way and you're not even trying it your way. So
Hmm.
you got to figure out what works best for you. Now, if you're fortunate enough to be able to have a tribe of guys, people that are supporting you, that are ironing, sharpening iron, helps you with the inevitable things that you're going to have to do by yourself, right? Like, so when my parent dies, Rob's not going to feel that pain because it's my parent. That's a hardship I got to go through. But
Hmm.
I could share it with him. He could give me some words of encouragement and vice versa. So it's a combination of both, but you got to identify you're only as good as your network is your net worth. Try to find a tribe of people that want to embrace masculinity, who want to embrace positivity to become better. So that way you can start becoming sharper and stronger. So when you do have to deal with something on your own, you're that much more equipped.
Right. No, and I definitely agree with you. I'm just going to share with you how I learned how to develop persistence. So, like my dad always turned my brother and I onto a lot of self-development books and stuff. And, so I read, there's this one book it's called The Success Principles. And I listened to that book 100 times. It was by Jack Canfield, and it has all these success principles, and it tells these stories of all these people who, when they would talk about one principle. And one of them like was just about persistence. It was like maybe an hour chapter of the audiobook. So after I listened to that, because like I was, like I was like, well, how am I gonna like, get this done? And they gave you, well, when you're persistent, you just go at it. Then when you fail, you figure out another. Well, I wouldn't say fail, but when you don't get there, you just figure out another way to go for it. And then I also learned from that book that persistence shows you like how much you really want something. If you have like drive and motivation
Bluetooth
and desire
disconnected.
for something, you're going to
Bluetooth
eventually
connected.
figure it out for yourself. Like, putting together a puzzle, you're going to figure it out. Like, same with a video game, for guys who just use video
Right.
game as an analogy. But if you're like, just start, you say, like, I just started playing like the Resident Evil video game, like the remakes and stuff. I, do it when I get some
Right.
downtime. And like, I was playing and I kept losing all the time. And so, but each time I went through and died, I learned a way to deal with the situation. I eventually got through the level. So I compare it to like a video game or something like that. When
Facts.
you don't know what's going on, you're gonna die all the time. Same with, you can compare that to a goal. You don't know how you're gonna do this, and you're gonna have your setbacks, but you just got to keep on trying. So look at it as like a video game. That was
Right.
just
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
my
That's a way. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
yeah.
I like that you did that because you incorporated something that you enjoyed doing and you applied it to life. Listen, guys, we're not telling you guys, we're telling you guys to grow up, don't grow old, right? So we want you to grow up. We want you to be a man, right? You claim you're a man. Why don't you need to start acting like a man? You want to be respected and perceived as a man, you need to start acting like a man. So grow up, don't grow old. Rob applied something that he likes to do in his pastime, play a video game, but yet he applied it to real life, right? So
Yeah,
it's called
exactly.
balance. And life is serious, but don't take yourself too seriously, right? You always got to have fun in what you do because it breaks the monotony and it makes the journey that much more enjoyable. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, I know, like, I don't want to, I'm not into much of the PUA stuff, but I remember when I read the book, The Game by Neil Strauss, there's a quote in there, you got to, when you use the analogy of like a video game too, when learning how to get good with women too. So you keep, it's like a game, and you're learning new things as you're going along, but you're going to like, you have your setbacks, you're not going to get your numbers, but you got to learn from those and figure out what you can do differently. If you continue to have the same actions and same behaviors all the time, then you're going to be stuck. And until you can learn how to navigate around that, you'll eventually move to the next level.
Absolutely.
So that's another. But I thought about that. It was weird because I was playing that game the other day, and I'm like trying to get past like Mr. X and stuff. I don't know if you know Mr. X is, but he's like he's like this tyrant guy. He walks around there, and I'm like, damn, how am I going to get this done with and I only have like 10 bullets left. I'm low on bullets, and I figured out a way to navigate around the zombies. And
that's what I'm saying.
And I realized I had that analogy though. I can compare this to like what I'm trying to work on in my life,
Right.
It's interesting. And if I can apply the same concepts I did to a video game, I can apply these same concepts to whatever it is I'm working on in my life.
Facts.
And
That's what I'm saying.
Talking about the desire, yeah, you have the desire to like get to the next level in the game. So it's so interesting how you can take that analogy of video games and put that in to real life,
which is awesome. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like, but with the last year, your last subscriber, the question about persistence being developed by association or hardships, it really depends. You know what I mean? Again, you were able to put a video game, some principles that you applied in a video game in real life, which is important. So you can learn from everything. I don't want you guys to be narrow-minded and tunnel visioned and too stubborn to not listen to everything. I want you guys to have the discernment to know that you can take a little bit from everything and compile it into something that you would like to strive to do or be while not be, while being yourself. So at the end of the day, man, life is interesting. Life is not hard. It's challenging, but it's not hard. It's very figure outable. Relationships can be great too. You know what I mean? You want to love somebody, you got to first love yourself so you know what to tolerate and what not to tolerate. And number 3, man, most people that don't say anything to you are watching you. If they're not encouraging you, it's because they can't even wrap their head around the fact that you have a book, you have a channel, that you're coaching men, that you're helping men. They can't wrap their hands around it, bro. And like I said, man, we're rooting for you. We're rooting for you. We're rooting for all guys who really believe in themselves. And when I say be yourself, bro, don't be a lazy effer and not do anything, not put in the work. Be the best version of yourself. Right? Go on all cylinders, because mediocrity is not reality in the real world. Do your best, but at the end of the day, man, there's a community of guys who really appreciate what you're doing, Rob, because you're doing the God's work, bro. And like I said, I'm looking forward to your channel growing, bro. And whatever you need from me, you already know that.
Same
what it
same
is
for you, man. Yeah, and I definitely would like to, hop on your channel.
That's a fact.
You look super tired in the morning.
Nah, you know what it is, Rob? Nah, I said it on my channel too. I want to bring back everybody that invited me on their show so I could thank them on my show. You know what I mean? So you definitely one of them. I just want to make sure that when it makes sense, I want to have a theme and everything. So when I bring you on, it's going to be perfect. But I have some ideas, but it's just a lot of work. That's why I kind of do.
Yeah, no,
the one show is tough, but like the one-on-ones, bro, it's kind of like a lot of time consumption. But you definitely coming on, bro. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, no, I know that. No, that's true. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so you know what's weird? So I was on the so I think it was the last interview I did with King Dre. Shout out to King Dre. We were talking about too, there's a lot of guys. He was telling me, like, I don't know if it was, he probably told me during the show, but there, he mentioned something about like, yeah, there's a lot of guys who, say they want to get good with women, yet they don't want it because they're not willing to open their minds and try new things.
Right.
And like, I think I see that, as a common behavior in guys. And I think like, I mean, if you really want to, go after something, you've got to put up with the anxiety of breaking out of your comfort zone, because you're not going to fucking grow. And part of my language, if you're going to be stuck in your comfort zone, you got to be able to do the action that is necessary to help you get to the next level. And some people just find that hard, you know what I'm saying? Or, they don't, maybe they invest the time in the mentor and they don't do everything that the mentor says, or they blame the mentor when they're trying to help them.
Man, I don't. You know what? I think the underlying reason why people do that, it's not necessarily that it's hard, man. I just think that it's fear.
Fear. Yeah,
They're just
exactly.
scared. They're scared that they're not going to be able to do it. They're scared to confront the fact that they can't do it, or they're scared that they're going to be able to do it. So it's kind of like everybody wants to be successful, right?
Hmm.
But sometimes they either don't want to put in the work to be successful, they don't want to realize that they will never be successful, or they can't, they're scared that they won't be able to handle success.
Hmm.
It's fear, man. It's fear. It's fear. And fear, how do you relieve fear? How do you minimize fear? By knowing yourself. When you know yourself, you don't put yourself in situations that you're going to be fearful and not on your square. But at the same
Hmm.
time, life doesn't start until you get it, you get out of your comfort zone. So all of these factors, bro, will come back to knowing yourself, man. And you know, people are scared to try to do new things because they don't think they can handle it. They don't think that they don't want to put in the work and challenge themselves and get back up after they fall down 9 times.
Yeah,
So
it's the
it's fear.
mind too
It's
that
fear,
tells
bro.
them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fear.
it's that mind that puts them in the mind. It's that mindset too. I think that does it. And I think it's like you have to develop like what I've learned. I mean, yeah, I was afraid a lot too. I'm not gonna lie when I wanted to go talk to girls or do whatever or make change because it was a big thing. But you got to challenge your mindset. Like if you, yeah, I mean, you got to. I learned the best way to. Okay, one thing I actually like taking action because it helps. Like when you go through stuff that you fear, you grow and you become stronger and you become adaptable to it. But I think it's important to do that if you're going to grow. You have to get out of your comfort zone.
You can't grow unless it's like growing pains. It's like growing pains, man. It's like, when you're a kid, your bones start hurting and shit because you're growing, you're stretching out, man. That's what it is. It's like it's no pain, no gain. You got to go through something, right? You got to go through something to kind of tell you where you are or where you need improvements or where or what you need to do better. So it's kind of like, let's say you got some liquid courage in you, you drink one too many, you're just frustrated with life, and now
Mhm.
the first guy that starts laughing at you, you want to punch him in his face. You haven't been in a fight in a long time, so you're like, man, F it, I'm gonna go punch this dude. That moment will really make you realize that A, you drank too much, B, you can't fight and think that you thought that you could, you can't fight, and C, damn, I need to go take jujitsu or something. Those type of scenarios can wake your ass up real quick. So at the end of the day, man, you guys, it's all about fear and knowing who you are and who you want to be. And the only way you're gonna learn, man, is through trial and error, man. That is the only way, man. Because if you guys continue to be fearful, man, you're gonna always be unhappy, man, and you're just gonna watch life pass you by. And as you get older, I'm 48 years old. Once you hit 30, time starts going by fast. After 40, bro, it starts going by real fast. 45, it's going by faster every day, bro. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
be
god!
48. So this shit is real, man.
Don't
You
remind me. I'm,
guys,
I'm turning 40 this year.
bro, you know what I'm saying? And time is definitely on the man's side if you put in the work. And if you got a 40-year-old and a 48-year-old telling you some of the things to save you a little bit of time in your journey, man, take that shit, bro. Because I promise you, man, if I had what you guys have right now, man, who knows where I'd be. So,
Yeah, I
you know
agree.
what
I,
I'm
I really,
saying?
I really wish I would have made this change. Well, I mean, I did I started doing it in 2007, but I mean, I didn't really do it till did it make started to go out and make these changes until I came out here,
Right.
and I kind of regret that. But I mean, at least I can say that I did it, and like I
Facts.
still got plenty of life to live. So it's not
Hell
like
yeah.
I didn't quite miss out on anything. And that's like I just got to like take a lot of catch up and catch up on a lot of things that I missed out on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So do you have any final thoughts then before we end this show? And let
Man,
people know where they can find you and stuff.
I appreciate you, bro. First things first,
Mhm.
man. Yo, Rob, I appreciate you for letting me come on your
Thank you, sir.
platform,
Yep.
speaking to all your guys, man. Guys, do me a favor, man. When you're done with this video, check out my channel, Alpha Villains on YouTube. I got a morning show called Finish Your Breakfast with AV, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lighthearted show. My goal for the show is to really go in line with breakfast being the most important meal of the day. Hopefully, you guys can get something out of my show, a nugget that can set the tone for your day. I appreciate you guys for your support. Make sure you guys like this video too, man.
Yeah, give us a like and share this. We like you, AV. Thank you very much for coming on up at the chat. Your link in the chat for you
Appreciate you
to subscribe. Yeah, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for supporting the show. I hope that AV will be on here again. We'll do another live stream
for
and give you some
sure.
kick-ass gems. Maybe we'll get Offie and Mr.
Let's
Riley on
go.
the
Let's
stream or something.
go.
But yeah, be sure to, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and like the video. I'm going to be on again this Saturday with the Sophisticated Man. We'll be talking about
Boom.
why online dating can kill your confidence. And then on Monday, I'm going to be on with Proud Masculine Joe. I don't know what
Nice.
we're going to be talking about yet, but that's going to be an evening show. But I'll be on at 4 o'clock Eastern time with the Sophisticated Man this Saturday. And that would be like let's see, that'd be 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, guys, thank you very much for coming on Alpha Villains, and I look forward to having you on again and being a part of your channel as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro.
And thanks for your insight.
Appreciate